Good afternoon, and welcome back to Three of Swords Gaming. So we continue our Guild Wars 2 personal story playthrough. We are currently on Season 2, and we are about to start the next chapter, which would be the 5th chapter, Echoes of the Past. So where did we leave off as we start this chapter? So we identified Mordremoth was a big threat. That came on the heels of Season 1 with Scarlet and everything, and the mystery of, why did Scarlet do what she did? And we ended up in Dry Top, where the Zephyrite fleet had been downed, and another Silvari was responsible for that. And this all kind of led us to the Mordremoth thing, and we started to discover that Mordremoth was a big deal, a serious threat. Several, forts were destroyed, Concordia and Salma, and Marjorie lost her sister. And so we persuaded the various leaders of the races of Tyria to come together for a summit to try and work out how we're going to tackle this Mordremoth thing. And that summit was actually attacked by Mordremoth, resulting in significant injury to the Pale Tree and the other racial leaders kind of getting out by the skin of their teeth after some fighting and so forth. Smodor and Newt were involved in combat. And Jenna kind of threw up a mesmer shield and stuff. So where we left off, we sent Marjorie and Casimir here to the Priory. Hey, Dermot Priory, right here. So one of the orders that we might remember from when we were selecting orders in our human core personal story, right? We sent them here to try and do some research. And but I looks like we're not starting here. We are returning to Fort Salma. So we hear from Ella Mackey here, who we may remember from Season 1. We interacted with her, but she was kind of like our historian through Season 1. Sending a young explorer named Campbell to investigate strange activities at Selma. I know you were at the battle that claimed the lives of so many Seraph. Other explorers tied up with missions or preparing to leave with the Pact, because of course the Pact is getting ready to fight Mordremoth, right? And they're still trying to recoup from the battle against Zytam, but here they go again. So I need someone I can trust to ensure Campbell's safety. Yes, so wrong place, the Priory. We will end up here very soon, but first, to Fort Salma we go. Kind of just skip right over the fort here. Of course, remember all this damage was done by Mordremoth. Is that a bucket in a tree? It's a weird place for a bucket. All this damage was done by Mordremoth when Fort Salma was attacked, right? In fact, I wonder if Belinda's body's still hanging there. That'd be kind of terrible. So supposedly Marjorie recovered it and took it to see family. Yep, no Belinda's body. It was hanging like right here from a vine, right? Gruesome. Gruesome. Terrible way to go. Getting all vined up. Alright, so let's find out what the Priory's got going on here with the with this researcher named Campbell. So here we got veteran fallen seraph ghosts. So I guess if you subscribe to the idea that they're actually shooting the arrow card at me, which is not good. If you subscribe to the idea that like a traumatic or violent death results in ghostiness, then I guess that would explain the seraph ghosts here, right?
What are you doing? Stay away from me.
Oh, so that is the voice of Campbell saying, hey, stay away from me. We'll have to get over there and find out what's going on. But as we can see, she's kind of on the other side, so we're going to have to deal with these other seraph ghosts first. Ooh, violent,
No! Ah!
violent ghosts.
Stop.
Oh, it's the
Don't
ghost
kill
of
me!
Belinda.
Take that, Mordrum.
I'm not a Mordrum. You're
Oh,
confused.
more
I'm
ghosts.
not Mordrum. Belinda Jane Delacroix! Halt!
Marty? What's happening?
Belinda, I'm here. It's okay.
It was a good magic. You brought my sword.
I promise I'll care for it.
When darkness overwhelms you, I'll bend your enemies before they can harm you. Until the day you die, I'll be with you. My love for you is everlasting. Show me the sword.
Rory, are you all right? Belinda, her spirit, she fused herself with the sword. Are you okay? I think so. We're here for you. Just say the word. She thought I was a Mordor. She was going to kill me.
Poor Campbell. There's Campbell. And then, so here we got, Marjorie and Casimir. So apparently they're not at the Priory, because here they are for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. I genuinely don't remember. Perhaps Marjorie will mention it here in a minute. So this little moment, honestly, when it initially happened, I thought was very cool, and I think is a nice kind of addition. Now, unfortunately, I don't recall a time where that actually becomes like the fact that Belinda is now infused with the sword. I don't recall a time when that becomes relevant, and I wish it did. Now in 2023, after however long it was after the 8 9 years after this, I'm kind of done with Casimir and Marjorie and all the other characters that we currently have like prominent within our story, because this was so long ago and they've been with us for so long now. And I'm ready to say goodbye. So I don't want more story later to make that relevant, because I'm done with these characters. But go back to whenever it was, 2014, 15, whenever this story, and I genuinely don't remember what it was, and I'm not going to look it up. But when this was a new release, that was a great moment, and I would have liked to have seen that moment pay off in some other way. Um, where her fusing with the sword was an important thing. All right, what's up, Marjorie? What are you doing here? When Belinda died, my world turned black. Now I don't know what to feel anymore. Belinda fused her soul with the sword. How? Why? We got two of the interrogatives here. I don't know. I'll have to do some research. Maybe this is a special blade. I just can't believe she did that. It'll be okay. Take some time for yourself. Get some rest. No time to rest. Well, fine. Argue then. I don't care, Marjorie. Whatever. Kaz and I were making headway at the Priory. Then what are you doing here? We got another meeting scheduled with Magister Mackey. Delaying would be a mistake. We have to arm ourselves against Mordaroth. If you're sure, then go back. Again, I don't know what you're doing here then, because last I heard, we sent you to the Priory. And I had actually completely forgotten about this instance. That's why I started out in the Priory. Because as far as I'm concerned, these two were supposed to be in the Priory. Go back. I need to check in with the Pact. A big, quiet old library is exactly the kind of environment I need right now. Again, begs the question what you're doing here then. It'll take my mind off things. We have to get Mortimer, my friend. Yeah, we will, I guess.
When the spirits of fallen Seraph overwhelmed me. I'd be dead now if it weren't for you. Thank you for saving my life. I'm heading to the Silver Waste to do some research for Magister McKay. Come find me if you're ever there.
McKay, Mackey, you say tomato, I say tomato. Okay, Campbell, glad you're okay. Way to go, buddy. Should have waited for you. The ghost almost got me. Why did they think I was Mordrum? I don't know. So here we go with like the whole ghost thing. Like, it was their trauma. They died so suddenly, they were confused. So that's what makes ghosts. Like, people believe that about our world, and apparently it applies to Tyria as well. Poor things. Yeah, I feel pretty bad for them considering they almost murdered you. I don't know. You like I only have a certain amount of sympathy to go around. Do you want my sympathy or do you want me to give to the ghosts? Like I owe you a debt. After this, I'm headed to the Silver Waste to further my research. Yeah, I thought you already said that. All right. Well, if I find myself in the Silver Waste, I'll look you up. We can have some coffee or something.
And that's that.
I don't know. Glass of wine. What does the kids do these days? We're planning our assault on Mordermoth at Camp Resolve. A new staging area in the Silver Waste. Yeah, the Silver Waste. Okay. Time has come for all to stand and deliver, and I would like you to assist with our preparations here. I have a specific mission for you if you're game. The Seraph of Kryta have secured a new route to our staging area through Fort Vandal. Evidence suggests the bandits hastily abandoned the location recently. Guards posted there may no more. Travel safe. Blah blah blah. All right, so let's head over there. Yeah, so I completely forgot about all this, but it is worth noting. So up until right now, right, we have had only Dry Top. Now Dry Top rolled out like this, and then this, and then this, and then finally all of it, right? So that was over like really quite an extended period of time. I don't recall the exact period of time, but 4 chapters of the story. I don't necessarily know that translated into like 4 quarters though, because I don't recall if they were specifically doing like the quarterly release thing then. It very well may not have been. It may have been a slightly shorter or even longer, but I don't think it was longer than a year to roll out Dry Top. I seem to remember it being under a year, but under any circumstances. So that's all we've got. And now, with this release, they roll out Silver Waste. Well, oh, do I not have the Vandal? I guess I don't. All right, we'll go there. So Silver Waste is actually a fantastic map in a lot of ways. I don't know if ArenaNet
Be careful if you're headed west.
made it what it is by design, or if they kind of stumbled across it and kind of got lightning in a bottle on it. Because between the season we are currently playing, season 2, and the release of Heart of Thorns, there was a significant content drought. It was like almost a year of nothing new in the game. It was kind of a rough period for the game. There were a lot of folks, like myself included, who enjoyed the game enough that I wasn't necessarily going anywhere, but it was disappointing to not see anything new and feel like the game was already in maintenance mode, and that would have been obviously like very early for it to be in maintenance mode. But that's really how it felt at that point in time. And certainly there were players who left during that time. I assume some came back, maybe some did not. I don't know. But there was a massive content drop. So that would have been significantly worse were it not for Silver Waste. Silver Waste is actually a really excellent farming map, which kept a lot of people kind of engaged for a really long time. Watch where you step. Something odd is afoot. Yeah, I don't. That's terrible, man. Really gotta watch yourself. Something here caused the Triad. The Triad being Inquest, Nightmare Court, and Bandits, who seem to be working together, like in this general area, to vacate Fort Vandal. Good for us, unless what scared them off was worse. It was abandoned so fast, Triad hardly had time to collect their notes. Vines scattered all over the place, so Mordrum thing. But it's gone now. So, alright. Then we'll go through the door. Whatever, man. And we do see, like, the vines here and stuff, right? So, and actually, we see the vines active around us and attacking us. It does hurt, yeah. Silver Waste. They did some interesting things which they've since duplicated, and they also, in terms of the map itself, so if you were to have played Drizzlewood Coast that what it's called? Drizzlewood Coast? Whatever it's called. Drizzlewood. If you had played Drizzlewood first and then come to Silver Waste, you would probably think to yourself, like, wow, Silver Waste, oh, is the meta event actually happening right now? Wonder how it's going. Oh, it's just about to start? You know what? Because we're talking about it, let's go grab the meta real fast. Just because we're talking about it. And it's, well, no, we're not going to, because it would be getting ahead in the story. We haven't seen that in the story yet, so I'm not going to do it. But with the meta for this map, they took, which we can kind of see from here without getting too deep in. 1, 2, 3. So they took a lot of the same concepts that existed in Marionette with various lanes and then a common foe. The need for, if this lane fails, so this one's currently open, they're going to go in there and they're actually going to fight this guy here in a second. These two, they're going to have to sustain for a while. And so there's this level of cooperation and coordination. If you help this lane succeed, then there's a cooldown before you can help in the other two lanes. These days, a tag isn't even really necessary. It's nice to see one. Presumably that, maybe the tag was running the map for a while, or whatever the case may be. But not even really necessary because the meta's been around for so long. At the time, it was exciting, it was engaging, it was interesting. And the transition from Marionette to Vinewrath, which is this meta over here, showed, so there, lane 1 is now going to enter and fight the Mordrum Vinewrath champion, right? Before ultimately, you defeat 3 champions, 1 for each lane to kill Vinewrath. All this not only built off of Marionette, but kind of set the template for meta events today. So you have a map that was super farmable and incorporated in that. We can't see it now because of the way the map is, but we got different little forts here, right? We got one here, one here, one up here, one over here. And these forts, you have to hold them for an extended period of time to build up your defenses. So it has a very like world versus world kind of feel to it, which again, Drizzlewood, right? So there are things they did on the map that were a success. There are things that they did in the meta which were a great success. And so even though this was followed by a massive content drought, it actually set the table for so much.
Find a place to lay those maps out and get me a couple of charcoal sticks to mark them with.
At once, sir.
Has anyone heard from Commander Frostgullet? She's late.
She's dealing with a problem on her ship, Marshal. The engines need maintenance.
Tell her to get someone else to do that. I need her here.
Right away.
Yeah, engine maintenance isn't really a captain thing. That's a, like, you should have a whole crew for that. Anyway, just finish my sentence. So much of what they did here in the Silver Waste kind of set the table, set the conditions.
Count on us, Commander.
I am. I'm tough as nails. Yeah, you should salute and cheer and stuff. Okay.
Counselor Flunt asked that I convey his regards.
I keep getting distracted. Silver Waste set us up for a lot of what's good about Guild Wars 2 today. So all the way up through End of Dragons and stuff. Even if you look at the most recent release, right, Gaiala Delves, you see Silver Waste in Gaiala Delves. You see the influence there. It is. It's an honor for me too. We're all honored around here.
Marshal, I have news.
How are things progressing?
The Northwest is overrun with Mordrum and strangling vines. The troops need reinforcements.
Tell Commander Quentin to ready his ship.
Yes, sir.
Everyone disperse. The Commander and I need to talk.
Yes, Marshal. Everybody out. Come on, move it.
While they're dispersing, let me fill you in on what's been happening since the summit.
Please do.
I took what you said to heart. The fleet's arriving gradually, and we're preparing to take the fight to Mordremoth. The cities have all sent troops to fight with us. We've begun preliminary forays into the surrounding area. I've contacted your friends from Destiny's Edge, and they've all agreed to join the battle. All but Ritlock Brimstone. I couldn't reach him. And none of the others know where that portal took him either. We're gathering as much information as we can on the enemy before we launch the main assault. We definitely need someone with your skills. So I'm glad you're with us.
I don't know what he means by he tried to get a hold of Ritlock. Like, he acknowledges that Ritlock is in the Mists. He acknowledges that Ritlock went through some sort of portal or rift or something. So I don't know. He literally says, I couldn't reach him, and none of the others know where that portal took him either. What, did you try calling his cell phone? Did you think he had cell phone reception in the Mist? Like, I literally have no idea what Traherne is talking about here. It's nonsensical, honestly. Yep, no problem. I'm here for you, buddy. The pact is high on my priority list. Staging base. So this is kind of a cool thing, right? Like, in fact, honestly, like, in terms of the feel of an area, this is one of my favorite places in the whole game. Remains so. Actually, one of my favorite spots is right up above here. You see how like airships are like coming in, and we got this giant airship right here and all that. When we get out of this instance, if we go to like the open world, we can actually come up here, and airships will land here and then fly away. It's really cool. Staging base is our launch point for an attack. Yep, that's cool. Before the dragon gets too strong. So the idea is that the dragons slumber and then they awake, and that's when they really start wreaking havoc and they feed on magic and get more and more powerful. So ideally, we would either take on the dragons while they are still sleeping, and try and just kill them in their sleep or whatever, in their slumber or their kind of comatose state or whatever it is. Or as soon as they wake up, before they can start consuming magic, we hit them, right? So the idea that Mordramoth is rousing and that these vines are signs that it is maybe not yet like fully awake or fully aware, but it's coming around. We want to get ready to attack now. We believe Mordramoth is west of here or south, perhaps. It seems the jungle is spreading eastward. So it does. There's been indications of that, right? When you look at Salma, Concordia, Iron Marches, and kind of the fact that, you know, like Brisbane Wildlands was where we first started encountering this, and that's kind of all the way to the west. So it makes sense. Are we putting the other dragons on hold? No choice. Mordramoth is the most imminent threat. Yeah, that's fair. Oh, but the others are, they're awake though. He's saying, all right. Are we ready? Are we ready for Mordramoth? To be honest, I'm not sure. Well, we will find out, won't we? Calibolg worked on Risen Lieutenants, but will it work on Mordor? We don't know. Hopefully well. We got a lot to learn. Primordus has been awake for over 200 years. Jormag for nearly as long. So is this that all the dragons are awake? Is that true? Because I'm under the impression that that's like I don't know that we continue to work under that assumption throughout the entire story. But as of right now, he's suggesting that all the dragons are awake, or nearly all of them are awake. So, all right. They both did great damage. So their minions are out there, right? Primordus's minions are out there. Jormags are out there. Kralkatorix are out there. And now Mordramoths are spreading out. So, okay. What do we need to do? There's a squad missing. They're on a scouting mission. Should have been back last night. Didn't return. There are two non-packed with them. Like that matters, I guess. But okay. Kaith and a diplomat sent here by the Crichton government named Canach. So we remember Canach, right? Canach. When you look for them, well, we'll roll out as soon as we're prepared. But first, we have presumably people to talk to. Oh, look, it's Bram. What's up, buddy? What did Traherne want? He's requesting my help to find a missing squad. You gonna be in charge? I guess so. So Bram would offer to come, but he's got to make sure Timey's safe. So we left Timey alone in a huge cave with Mordrum and Scarlet machinery, which kind of has a tendency to do its own thing, and like all this stuff. But now, in a camp surrounded by hundreds of Pact, Bram is I mean, I guess he's coming around to the idea of responsibility. Good for you. She's looking for Pact. Okay, so she is. I don't know. Did Scruffy get repaired? Remember, Scruffy was damaged by Inquest not that long ago. I guess she's trying to toughen Scruffy up. Oh yeah, I'll never forget how close she came to dying in that Inquest attack. Yep, we showed up in the nick of time. She was so scared. She was shaking, right? All right, Bram, go take care of Timey. Are we gonna go check on Timey? Looks like we are.
Wait, I have more questions. I need to know, was Aaron working for Scarlet?
Not to my knowledge, miss, although I suppose it's possible. I never met any of his friends.
Then what are you doing out here?
We came looking for a safe place to land.
Wait, you can't just leave after saying that.
Apparently they can.
Why would he attack you? You never did anything to hurt him, did you?
Of course not. We welcomed him into our fold, but he grew violent.
It started with episodes of confusion and aggression.
We just decided to confine him when...
So where's the Master of Peace now?
We need to find him.
Excuse me. Excuse me!
Timmy's getting a little bit Karen on us there. It's kind of
Why would he go off alone?
a bit much.
We believe he's still searching for a place where we can all be safe.
We saved him. We tracked Aaron through the wastes and found him before he could kill your master.
That was you, huh? You found Aaron's corpse and assumed the master had killed him.
Nope, it was the boss and me and the others too. We trapped him inside Spur Bend Canyon, fought him there.
We are profoundly grateful to you, miss. To all of you. But we really must go now.
Alright. So, Master Lightning, Master Sun, Master Wind. So you remember the 3 different like little gems that we can use to give us various movement skills from the Zephyrites? Each one of these represents like a master of one of those aspects, right? And then Master Peace kind of represents the assimilation of these or whatever. He's the overall leader, right? So presumably these are the 3 leadership figures underneath the Master Peace. Yes, we saved the life of the Masterpiece. Yeah, I have a knack for the aspects. So if you had initially, when the Labyrinthine Cliffs came out, and you had done like all the puzzles and achievements there, that would have required you to some degree to actually have a knack for commanding the aspects. Or if you had done, what's the activity? Sanctum Sprint. That requires you to use them quite a bit and kind of get an idea for what they do. So I suppose that would be a fair statement. Aaron was out of control, so I bonked him in the head with my axe. How did the Masterpiece look? Was he injured? No, seemed hardy and rough and tough. He's the best among us. If anyone could survive out there on his own, but you're gonna go try and catch up with him. We fear the day will come when he needs us. We want to be there when he does. All right, but what about all the folks who are all jacked up? We're doing this for them. For now, they can help each other, but soon we'll need a safe place to shelter while we recover and rebuild. You could just go to Divinity's Reach or something, but okay, that's fine. Go find a place in the desert. Like, you do your thing. What about your crystals? The others will collect them. Yeah. The aspects are glint magic. Fueled by it. She lives on in the sun, wind, and lightning. Okay. Her magic is what, creates these crystals or whatever. Okay. So that's not completely out of place with like some of the other things that we will see much later in like Path of Fire. So, and we sell this? No, not hers. We grow the ones we sell. Okay. And the Masterpiece. Looking for. So there's one more thing we could also ask. Like, I kind of messed it up. Skipped a little bit of the history, but over 200 years ago, small group, nomadic. Lived in the desert, assisted Glint any way we could, but then Kralkatork awoke and destroyer. Yeah, along with the Destiny's Edge, fought and all that. All right. Let's get going here. Timmy, let's let these people go do things that they're supposed to do. Look, there's a water bucket, and it's not in a tree. What am I going to go do? I'm going to go find Kaith and Canach. Bram should go with you. Bram's gonna stay with you. Seriously, I'm not a baby. Well, but you're a child. So, suck it up, Buttercup. You have a babysitter whether you like it or not. Alright. Let's go find Kaith and Canach. And so remember, when we initially met Canach, and we still viewed him as a bad guy, and I talked about how we would be kind of coming around on him and warming up to him, and that he's actually an extremely likable character. We're gonna start moving that direction with this little adventure. But first, let's kind of fly. Whoops, I missed where I wanted to be. There we go. So the jumping puzzle on this map, there's also a massive, I forgot to mention that earlier, massive jumping puzzle on this map. I'm not a fan of jumping puzzles, and I find it immensely annoying, but it is very impressive and very well done. So if we were to, as I just kind of wanted to come up here and show this, because I mentioned it, if we were to hang out up here, in fact, here it comes. Like, I think that's super cool that the ships actually come in. Now, I don't know if we can get on the ship. I don't recall that I've ever tried. Let's see. Yep, fall right through. But just the same, like, really cool to watch them come in and leave and all that stuff. Really, really fun thing. Yeah, so this jumping puzzle, like, goes across, like, over the top of the map, across a lot of these areas that, at the time, were completely, like, unreachable, right? So, like, coming up here, because, of course, there were no mounts at the time. There was not even gliding at the time. So, like, right over here, I believe the jumping puzzle at one point comes across one of these areas. I don't remember exactly where. I've only done it a few times because I kind of hate jump puzzles. But like running across this stuff was really cool, but the only way that was going to happen was with the jumping puzzle. So again, although I hate them, the one for this map is impressive, I think, in terms of its design. I find it impressive, at least. Maybe I'm just easily impressed. So here we see, like, this fort is currently like contested, or it's being attacked. We can see, like, here's the Mordrum going to attack it. Presumably, yeah, there's some folks in there defending it and whatnot. They're defending Magister Wiggs. All very kind of world versus world-ish, which I like. I appreciate when they bring little bits of world versus world out into other aspects of the game. This one's also contested right now. But also, we see this, much later with Drizzlewood as well. Almost identical mechanisms. Oh, good. My favorite NPC, Kaith. All right, so here's some Vigil. They're going to be rolling with us. Let's all do our thing here. Oh, look. Dead Mordrum. The fallen Mordrum appears to be wired to some type of device. Oh my gosh.
Do not disturb that body. It's rigged to explode. Unless you wish to be vaporized into a fine mist, I advise you to step away.
His voice changed a lot between those two sentences. Super weird. Hello, Canach. Hey, buddy. So, you're planting IEDs? Is that what's going on out here? Forgive me, you're welcome, Commander. So, I really appreciate... One of the things I like about Canach is that he does not take our, like, whole, like, thing as Commander seriously. Super appreciate that, because it's impossible to take seriously. Like, ArenaNet's written it so over the top and stupidly that it's... I'm glad there's at least one character that kind of, like, puts their finger in that hole and wiggles it around. How did you know the Mordrum's remains were booby trap? Set that trap myself. To dissuade enemies from following my dear sister. That he's referring to Kaith here, not sister, like in the human sense, but they're both Silvari and so forth. So, although she is firstborn and he is not, and thus in Silvari culture, that makes her better than him. And he is in fact resentful of that, but just the same. Not so resentful. He's just gonna let her die, right? Present company excluded, of course. I'm not so sure we aren't enemies. You're a convicted felon. We're still kind of holding that line. I do wish you'd get over it. Yeah, we probably should get over it. It's amazing, like, so apparently with Canach we have a little trouble getting over it. There are other characters that were completely like, oh, you're a bad guy. Oh, you're not? Okay, we're cool with it then. Like, it's interesting that, which characters we choose to a hard line, which kind of pseudo enemy like NPCs we toe a hard line on, and which ones we don't. It's kind of an interesting thing. Even in End of Dragons, we will see that where we will collaborate with former enemies and so forth. Enemies we have already met at this point in the story, in fact. All right, Canach has a mission to finish. All right, let's get going. I advise rigging these mines to Mordrum corpses we come across. So, we saw that one of the dialogue options was, is it actually worth the effort? Well, one, there are achievements associated with it if you, like, really care. We kind of don't really care. I'm not doing this for achievements. But the other thing is the if we get this mindset, and then we're gonna like try and pull these guys, and if we can pull them across the mine, it does incredible damage to them, right? So it is actually desirable if you're struggling. Now, alternatively, you could just come in here and like just crush the enemies. And probably after this one, then although I don't do nearly as much damage with this character as I do with some of my others, I keep forgetting to go get like. Yeah, I need to go get some ascended like trinkets and stuff. That'll make the situation much better. Do we have? We gotta pull these guys like way back if we're gonna use the mines over here.
I feel good.
So they might not even come this far because the other NPCs, they might just attack the NPCs. Oh, no, there we go.
Feel the fury.
So far, we're 2 for 2. Oh no, what do we have here? Oh man, Dead Whispers Initiate. So we can continue to do that and get the achievement of, killing all these creatures. Or we can just charge through here and just, kill them all. Oh man, I might have bit off more than we could chew though. That's actually a whole mess of them. That was actually kind of dumb. Alright. Here, we'll use this one.
There's the squad.
Oh, they're going to jump right on top of me while I'm doing it. Oh good, we found the squad. I'm here to help you guys. Don't worry about a thing. I should probably get out of the poison though. Oh, this time I really did go down. Just trying to draw all the aggro, which is actually kind of a foolish thing to do, right? I was playing on Reapers on a couple other accounts today. Reaper is so easy, now I have bad habits. Alright, everyone up? What's up, Cave? Welcome to the Silver Waste. Is this the time for that? Thanks. I assume that's like kind of like that, like welcome to Afghanistan, Cherry. Like I don't know, whatever. I see you have my little brother Canach in tow. I sure do. Yep, Canach came with me. Nothing I couldn't handle. Well, your squad was dead, Cave. So I feel like you were at least maybe a little stretched. You find anything?
Judging from their increasing numbers, I'd say we must be getting close to something important.
If so, I imagine they will be increasingly belligerent.
Feel free to hide when the action starts, Canach.
Are you worried that I'll show you up, Cave?
What's Canach do? Oh, Canach's in a fight. Canach. How did that happen? Where did these hoodlums come from?
Feel the fury.
Alright, you kids ready to join everyone else? Let's get going. And I guess we got Kaith with us now. And we are going to find a better vantage point. Because this was a reconnaissance mission, right?
Which means we're close to let's press forward.
Oh, these are the immature ones. They just die like nothing. Forgot about that. Alright, we're almost there.
Time to do some real damage. Feel the fury.
Ugh. What are you guys doing back there? Let's go.
That's enough violence for now.
So this is actually the reason that I waited. And we didn't go do the meta.
There, a base of operations for the local Mordrum.
Do you see that glow?
Yes. What could they be up to all the way out here?
We have Mordrum inbound and should consider retreating. We are deep in their territory and we are vastly outnumbered.
We should send up a flare. I hope the pact will
So
see
whatever
us
that
send help.
flower, which we could like just barely see right back there, but we saw it in the cutscene. Whatever that's meant to,
That flare attracted more of
you know,
the
represent, whether it's a creature or it provides like some capability or resources or something to all these Mordrim. Whatever the case may be, and I don't know that, I don't recall where that's ever clear, like what the role of Vine Wrath is. It is the center of gravity for the Mordrim here, so that's why it is the conclusion of the meta, and that's why it is the thing that we identify here while we're doing our reconnaissance. I was actually kind of hoping I had longbow equipped, but let's see if we can equip it real quick. Nice.
There are too many of them and too few of us. This
Oh
location
no,
is
too many and too few.
Time to do some real damage.
Yeah, so in fairness to Canach, this really would be like the definition of an indefensible location, right? Like, yes, you have the high ground, but, you know, death is at your back here in terms of the cliff. Like, you can't retreat back. And here comes, you know, the enemy to get you. So, it is certainly a suboptimal location for a, you know, for defense. Not where you want to find yourself. Yet it is, in fact, where we find ourselves, so gotta make the most of it. Yes, help is on the way because we shot our little flare over here, right? So, presumably, like, someone from the Pact will see the flare and will come to help us out. That's what we want, at least. Oh, was that all of them? All of them except the vines?
Feel the fury.
Alright, well, we can't just be leaving people behind. When the help comes, we need to have everyone. We're not rushing. We don't just leave our dead on the battlefield. Oh no! Should be getting pretty close. Guess we can kill a vine to pass the time.
We'll make a stand on that ledge. This area is overrun.
So I think that dialogue assumed that, like, we were doing our fighting down here. And then, like, make our way up here because we're gradually getting pushed back. So, you know, whoops. Alright, so there's our help. We're gonna get evac'd. We're gonna get air evac'd. Char helicopters are so ridiculous. They're fun though. Okay. So at the time,
Mordrim went to a lot of effort to keep us from reporting back.
You and the commander have experience with dragons. Is this predictable behavior?
Elder dragons are far from predictable. Their minions show a sort of situational awareness.
so like I was saying, at the time that season 2 launched, of course, like, the game was harder. You know, there hadn't been nearly the power creep, right? And keep in mind, when we played season 1, the power creep didn't impact us because season 1's been re-released just recently. But with season 2, we're playing season 2 as it was on release, right? So many of the encounters may potentially, you know, I may not necessarily fairly reflect it because, like, I'm not a rock star of this game, But for a skilled player, like many of the encounters would be kind of trivial because the benchmark for like good DPS at the point in time when this was released was like 60 to 70% of what is good DPS today. Maybe 75, but I think that's a bit much. So okay, we got a letter. Oh, Marjorie and Casimir have hit a dead end at the German Priory. Maybe they should have stayed there and kept working instead of running over to Salma for no apparent reason. We'd like to interview the resident dragon expert, but he has retreated to a secure location deep within the Priory. They changed the cipher to that room on a regular basis, and no one knows the latest one. That's weird. Remember Campbell? Magister McKay, apparently, not Mackie. Believes she has current cipher, and she's doing field work in the Silver Waste. To convince her you need the cipher, repeat the phrase, "Long live the King of Deldrimor." Alright. Oh, is she over here? No, this is someone else. Report to Pack Tactician Envold. Envold, I was told to talk to you. Came as soon as we saw your flare. Took a big risk, taking one of our birds out with all this dust and sand in the air, but obviously it was well justified. We do appreciate it. We do. Because otherwise, in theory, we would have died, although, I mean, obviously the fights weren't, like, all that bad. But do you know where Kaith and Canach went? Not sure about Canach, but Kaith went to report to the Marshal with the information, from the recce, right? They were doing recce. She should probably, report that information in some way. Okay, cool. Let him know I have to go do a thing. I'm looking for Campbell. She's out in the field. I will mark the site for you. Alright. Let's not go talk to Campbell. Let's insert a video break here before we go talk to Campbell. And we'll come back up here for it. Since this is such a cool spot to be. Alright, so we'll insert our video break here. Following the Mordrum attack on the World Summit, what has happened? Well, we went back to Fort Salma because we heard that, like, weird things were going on out there. So we went to visit an explorer, Campbell, who was hanging out there. And what we discovered is that the Seraph who died defending the place were turned into ghosts, and they were a little bit bananas because, of their traumatic death or whatever. So they were attacking Campbell, and one of them was Belinda, right? So we put a stop to that, and then Belinda, like, infused herself in Marjorie's sword. That's kind of gonna, when all said and done, irrelevant to the story, but it's an interesting little instance or whatever. And now we are coming out here, new map, since we, prior chapters were all centered here. So now we are here in the Silver Waste, and learning more about the Pact's preparations, right? The Pact is getting ready to go. We see the airships here, we see people getting ready, and they're going to take the fight to Mordremoth. So when we pick it up next, we're going to link up with this Explorer Campbell again, and try and get, like, the combo to some kind of safe room or something over at the Priory so we can help out Marjorie and Casimir, with a long-term goal of joining the Pact and taking the fight to Mordremoth, right? So we will pick it up with this whole Priory thing with the next video. And as far as the stream goes, here in just a minute, right?